Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter, professor of football science. I'm a writer for FOOTBALLANALYSIS1.com, where I write about the NFL, the ins and outs, the daily news, whatever you got there, okay? Then I write for CFLNewsHub.com, where I write about the Canadian Football League, primarily the Hamilton Tiger Cats and their day-to-day operations. And then I write for UFLNewsHub.com, primarily about the Orlando Storm. I have new articles on all those websites right now. Go on FOOTBALLANALYSIS1.com, CFLNewsHub.com, and UFLNewsHub.com is going to keep pumping out articles. We're at a good time of year in which UFL's firing up, CFL free agency about to fire up, and the NFL is coming to a close. In addition, we got the NAL and IFL about to pop off here in the next couple of months, so we're going to start breaking down some arena football too. Keep in mind that this YouTube channel is our news channel, is what we're using for news primarily and our predictions. And then on TikTok, we do a lot more analysis just because it's easier to get more widespread exposure. So check us out on TikTok too, Football Analysis, Football Scientific, or not Football Analysis, but FOOTBALLANALYSIS1.com is where I write. So check out Football Scientific on TikTok, and you'll see a lot more content. And we have live shows and stuff, which are pretty interesting. So I am joined today by my guest host, Tyler the Tiger. Tyler the Tiger here, ready to go, ready to talk about the NFC and AFC championship games. Oh yeah, that's right, they're tomorrow. Good call, Tyler the Tiger. The NFC and AFC championship games. We're probably going to do a live breakdown of that early game, the Patriots and Denver game. Well, that sounds fun. I think we'll have a good time doing it too. I think we'll break it down and have a great time. We'll break it down, you know. So what's been going on in the NFL? A lot of stuff in the NFL, CFL, and UFL the last couple of days. So it's been busy writing articles. We've been writing. So it's been hard to make a video here on Football Scientific. But you can always check it out. You know, check out TikTok and keep up with YouTube with us. Yeah, exactly. All right, Professor, are you ready to break it down? I am ready to break it down. Let's break it down. All right, here we go. So first, NFL news. A lot of head coaching hires. Yesterday was a crazy day for the Buffalo Bills head coaching search. Okay, so what they broke out early in the day was that the Buffalo Bills would be doing head coach interviews Friday with Chargers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. That did not happen. What happened instead is I wrote an article about this. Philip Rivers was given a head coaching interview with the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen's request that he get a consideration. He's a high school head coach in Alabama, where his team, St. Michael's Catholic High School, has gone 43-15. He runs the same offense as the guy the guy at Indianapolis. That's why he picked him to run his offense this year. But he actually went from high school ball to an NFL interview. If you think to yourself, well, there's no way they're going to hire him, he doesn't have any NFL coaching experience. Norman Brian Brocklin went immediately from being a player in the NFL to being an NFL head coach. He was the first head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So it's happened before. It's rare, though, especially for a team as good as Buffalo that's on the verge of making a Super Bowl. If they hire Philip Rivers, it's over. You're starting over, okay? All right, Mike McDaniel accepted a job from the LA Chargers, but he kept the interview slot, but he did not show up for that. So that's why they had time to interview Philip Rivers for that job. Boom. Today, the Bills are interviewing Commanders run game coordinator for defense, Anthony Lynn, and they're also interviewing former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. And Sunday, they're interviewing Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski. Okay, LA Chargers, they requested They requested an interview with Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr. So while Jesse Minter goes from the Chargers to the Ravens as their new head coach, the Chargers are looking for the Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr for their next defensive coordinator. Let's see if that happens. Buffalo Bills mentioned Philip Rivers get an interview. He jumped in there, wrote an article about that on FOOTBALLANALYSIS1.com, so check that out. Philadelphia Eagles, they are interviewing Dolphins senior passing game coordinator Bobby Slowick for their OC job. I don't know if passing the ball to that go with Philadelphia, but it's good to see Bobby Slowick getting a look. Pittsburgh Steelers, they completed an interview with Mike McDaniel. Okay, so they didn't do Mike McDaniel. They did an interview with Anthony Weaver. But to jump ahead of that, to cancel out the Pittsburgh Steelers head coaching news, they have offered Mike McCarthy their head coaching job, and he will become the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike McCarthy. So like it or not, he's going to be there. And it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is probably going to take one more. They think he's going to play one more season for Mike McCarthy. They had been together in Green Bay earlier in Rodgers' career. Baltimore Ravens, they have requested to interview Chiefs D-line coach Joe Cullen for their defensive coordinator job. Miami Dolphins are hiring Bills special teams coordinator Chris Tabor as their special teams coordinator, so an in-division move. Means there might be some secret share there. Not that it's going to matter because they got a new head coach in Buffalo. NFL Kansas City Chiefs have officially offered Eric Bieniemy their offensive coordinator position. He's going to sign that, and they've told Matt Nagy goodbye. They put a tribute to Matt Nagy on their website. New England Patriots ruled out outside linebacker Harold Landry for Sunday's AFC Championship game. So that's a big deal. Outside linebacker Harold Landry is not going to play for the Patriots against the Denver Broncos. Atlanta Falcons, they interviewed a bunch of people for their GM spot yesterday. Ian Cunningham was a person they interviewed. Seattle Seahawks activated running back George Holani and tight end Elijah Arroyo for their NFL. So they're building up. Falcons also interviewed Josh Williams for their general manager job. The Cleveland Browns did a second interview with Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski for their head coaching job. I just read an article before we started that no one wants the Cleveland Browns job because of Shadur Sanders, I guess. Atlanta Falcons also interviewed Joe Douglas for their GM job. That was all yesterday. Pretty busy day for the Falcons and interviewing for general manager position. This morning I saw LA Chargers OC Mike McDaniel has withdrawn his name from the Buffalo Bills and Cleveland Browns head coaching processes, which it makes sense. He accepted a job with the LA Chargers to coach with Jim Harbaugh and coach up Justin Herbert. Green Bay Packers, interesting story here. Green Bay Packers left tackle Rasheed Wallace. He was arrested as he tried to board a plane with a gun in his bag. Bad job, left tackle Rasheed Wallace. Buffalo Bills, they did an interview today. They confirmed that with Anthony Weaver, who is the Dolphins' defense coordinator. New York Jets, they have requested an interview with Wink Martindale, old school name from the Giants and from that area, neck of the woods, Baltimore Ravens, Michigan Wolverines. Wink Martindale is going to be interviewing for the New York Jets defense coordinator job. LA Chargers, they are interviewing Aubrey Pleasance for the D coordinator job. Who knows? The New England Patriots have downgraded defensive tackle Joshua Farmer and running back Terrell Jennings to out for tomorrow's game, so the Patriots will be a little beat up. They won't have as much depth as they normally would against the Broncos. Okay, but they will have Drake May, and the Broncos will have Jarrett Stidham. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're planning to hire Mike McCarthy. That was official today. They're going to hire Mike McCarthy to be the next head coach, and they think it will help with keeping Aaron Rodgers in place until they can find their quarterback. Las Vegas Raiders interviewed New York Giants head coach Brian Dable, former New York Giants head coach Brian Dable, for their head coaching job. I think that might be a good fit for him, honestly. Kind of rebuild that team, although that'd be another bad team he'd be jumping into. All right, and then we got our betting guide and predictions for the AFC and NFC championship games for tomorrow. So for the AFC championship game, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Sunday, January 25th at 3 o'clock. We got the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos, okay? I predict the Broncos will compete in this game because they have an outstanding defense, and their offense has never been that great. But I think Jarrett Stidham is going to make a few key mistakes against the Patriots defense. So I predict Patriots will win this game 24-20 with 44 total points being scored. DraftKings says the Patriots are 4.5-point favorites. And the over-under is 42.5. I actually agree with both of those. I'm taking the Patriots to win. I'm taking the Patriots money line. I'm going over 42.5 and 44 total points. So that's that. And then NFL Championship, NFC Championship game, January 25th, 6:30 p.m. LA Rams at Seattle Seahawks. Okay. So what's going to happen here? I think the Rams and Seahawks, they've played two really close games this year. They split the series. I think the Seahawks have a little bit more tread on the tire because they played one less playoff game, and they blew out the San Francisco 49ers rather than the Rams, who had to scrap for both wins. I think the Seahawks will be more healthy, and I think they'll come out and win this game at home. We predict Seattle will win 27-24 because they can pound the rock against the LA Rams. And then DraftKings says the Seattle Seahawks will win by 2.5. We actually agree with that. We're taking the Seahawks in the money line and over 46.5 with 51 total points. So we'll have a short about that tomorrow, some shorts, and then we'll have our scattering point for those games on TikTok. In the CFL, a lot of activity in CFL yesterday. Winnipeg Blue Bombers signed American defensive lineman Chris Bogle. They signed American defensive back Shaim Battle. Ottawa Red Blacks extended American defensive back Bennett Williams. And Saskatchewan Roughriders signed American defensive line Marcus Haynes. Okay. Boom, Hamilton Tiger Cats signed American wide receiver Jawan Newton. And I wrote an article about that on our CFL News Hub. Montreal Alouettes signed national linebacker Jonathan Sunderland. Ottawa Red Blacks released American defensive back Garrett Heslop. They released national defensive lineman Deontay Knight. BC Lions signed American wide receiver Trayvon Sibley, maybe. And they released American linebacker Micah Awe. And Calgary St. Peter signed American defensive back Millard Bradley. Okay? Not Milton Bradley. That's a board game maker. Okay? Toronto Argonauts signed American defensive back Edward Woods. Saskatchewan Roughriders signed American kicker Michael Hughes. And then in the UFL, late yesterday, we had some UFL roster moves, which teams are trying to finish out these rosters or hit training camp, which will probably happen at the end of February, I believe, because they start playing at the end of March in the UFL. So this could be a pretty fun year, I think, with the new rebrands and stuff. Should be interesting. Columbus Aviators, they released several players from their current roster based on the UFL draft. So strong safety Henry Black is gone. Middle linebacker Amari Burney is gone. Boop. Cornerback Shaim Carter is gone. Boop. Defensive tackle Prince Emili, who played for the Brahmas last year, is gone. Boop. And cornerback Israel Mukamu is gone. Okay. And then signed to teams in UFL. Birmingham Stallions signed wide receiver Kyrick McGowan. DC Defenders signed offensive guard Stephen Lasoya III. Houston Gamblers signed offensive lineman Dominic Boyd. Orlando Storm. The Orlando Storm signed offensive tackle Bryce Benhart, which they needed. He played at Nebraska, and he's a very large tackle, which matches the rest of their line. They have a very large offensive line. And then they signed tight end Sean Bowman to replace so many tight ends they've lost recently, J.J. Galbraith and Steve-O Klotz. And I wrote an article about that on UFL News Hub, so check that out. And St. Louis Battlehawks offensive guard Sincere Hainsworth has been signed. And the Storm, I didn't do a coaching breakdown for the Storm yet because they don't have a full coaching staff, but their offensive coordinator is, I forget his name, and it's hard to say, but they found an offensive coordinator, and they got Mark Colombo, who used to play for the Bears, as their offensive line coach. So they are making some progress. Kyle Caskey or something, I think it is, as the offensive coordinator at Orlando Storm. So it was all pretty interesting. That's our news for today, and that was our betting guide and prediction for the AFC and NFC Championship game. We will have a show tomorrow. We will have shorts. We will have scouting reports on TikTok. I believe also we're going to start making a breakdown of Seattle Seahawks offense, which I find compelling because I enjoy West Coast offense, X's and O's. We've been doing it live, kind of testing out, using the video system and stuff for that. That we have, and it's gone really well. Our lives on TikTok have been amazing, so we're going to keep that going. We're probably going to do a live stream during the games tomorrow, at least for the AFC Championship game. So that should be pretty fun, okay? So with that in mind, check out footballanalysis1.com for some NFL articles. Check out CFL, and also MSN. It's on MSN. Check out CFLNewsHub.com for some Canadian Football League articles and UFLNewsHub.com for the most up-to-date UFL articles, okay? And now we're going to close the scientific portal for today. And thanks.